Philip, thank you for joining us en route to Geneva for our missions night. Remind us, please, just Philip, a little bit about where you're from, your church connection with Ireland, and just update us on your family, where they are and what they're doing, please, if you would.
Yeah, of course. So our whole family is Philip and Rachel Moore. Donc Philip, me, Rachel, my wife, and then five children: Julia, Anna, Abigail, Theo, and Zoe. Julia is currently doing a doctorate in Oxford. Anna is currently in third year medicine in Nottingham. Abigail's just finished her second year in law in Dublin. She'll be back in Paris next year to finish the next 2 years of law. So that's the three big girls. We moved with them to France in 2006, and we've been in France ever since. Obviously, they were younger then; they were 5, 4, and 2 at that point, and so they grew up in France and learned French and so on and so forth. And then after we moved to France, we added Theo, who's now 14, and Zoe, who's just about to turn 12, to the family. So they're currently with us in Paris, and they're attending school in Paris. So in terms of the links with Irish Baptist churches, we have two main links. One is with Antrim Baptist Church, where I grew up, and where I've got a lot of friends still, and mum and dad are still there. And the second link that we have is with Hamilton Road Baptist Church, who support us still, and who've been very faithful since 2006. We moved to Hamilton Road Baptist Church in 1997 when we got married, and so we were members there. And then Hamilton Road Baptist Church sent us out to France to start the work here.
Super. And Philip, last summer you made a big move from where you're living right into the centre of Paris. Tell us why you did that and how that's gone and how the Lord's been answering prayer along the way.
Yeah. So what happened was essentially we moved out to the outskirts of Paris. So Paris is a very big geographical area in the sense that there's 12 million people, nearly a fifth of the population of France live in the Paris area, and we moved to the eastern suburbs of Paris, and we came and I pastored a church there in the eastern suburbs near Disneyland Paris. If anybody's been out to Disneyland, they were right close by to where we were. And then during that time from 2006 to 2023, we were involved in church planting really all across that eastern part of the Paris suburbs, and we were involved in planting the Val d'Europe Church, the Falmoutier Church, the Shell Church, and then also the Connexion Church right in the middle of Paris. And during that time, people would say to us from time to time, you guys should come into Paris and minister in Paris, or maybe plant a church in Paris. Because of our background, they thought that would be a good fit for us as a family, and for me and Rachel in particular. But we always felt as if we had work to do in the east of Paris, and we always felt as well that we were committed to the churches out there, and until such times as there were pastors in the churches that we'd started or been involved with, we couldn't move. And then also we couldn't really move into somewhere without having an ecclesiological legitimacy, if you like. So I'm not a big one to believe in bowling up somewhere and doing a project on your own. I kind of believe that churches plant churches, and so I would find it difficult to move into Paris in the absence of an official invitation from a local church. And so what happened was there's a part of tragedy in this, but it's also part of God's good plan, I think, in redeeming situations. A good friend, Edward Nelson, died in 2020, and he was one of the ones who was encouraging me and Rachel to think about moving into Paris. But before he died, his last words really to Matthew Saunders, who's the pastor of the church we're currently at, he said to Matthew, your church, Église la Rue de Sèvres, which is one of the bigger Paris churches, you need to get back on the front foot in terms of church planting. You need to be back in the game, if you like. And I think that might have annoyed Matthew at the time he said it. But, when Edward then died, those words took on a new significance, because Matthew was thinking to himself, well, that's the last thing Edward said to me. That was his kind of life's mission and passion. And I can't really ignore that. And so about a year after that, in 2021, Matthew said to me, I've heard that you would be maybe open to a move. Would you and Rachel consider coming into the Rue de Sèvres church and help us planting a church? At that point, we didn't know it was going to be the fifth, but we said we were open to the idea. And so for the next kind of 2 years, I suppose, we explored the idea with the local churches, with other people who knew us well. They explored the idea on their side with their Rue de Sèvres church. And then in the beginning of 2023, we decided that was what we should do next. And everybody was agreed with that. And so we started putting plans together to move the family into Paris Centre. And by that stage, we decided on the particular part of Paris that we wanted to move to, which was the 5th arrondissement, the 5th district, which is, if people know Paris, it's on the left bank of the river. It's just opposite Notre Dame Cathedral. And it's where all the universities and colleges are kind of concentrated. So there's the Sorbonne, the Collège de France, Henri IV, Louis le Grand, ENS, all those kind of big schools are right there in the Fifth. 80,000 students come into the Fifth every single day, and 50,000 people live in the Fifth. And there's no official evangelical church currently in the Fifth at all. I mean, I think there was one, but I think it's moved out. And I think, and I know that even if there was one, it isn't serving the needs of those demographics I just described. And so the vision is that we would come in, and we came in September 2023, to join the church, and then from the church of the Rue de Sèvres be sent into the Fifth. So we decided then that we'd move into the Fifth alongside the Rue de Sèvres church and start thinking through, praying through, seeing what it would be like to plant a church there. So we've been there for the last 8 months now, since September or August, mid-August. And we've really had a very easy transition in many, many ways. The children have transitioned well into their new schools. We found a flat, by the grace of God, that is central and really well situated and very easy to use in terms of hospitality and welcoming people. We've got a kind of home group that meets there, and that's really kind of encouraging. We've got lots of friends that we're making around the place, whether that's through the school, being involved in the school, whether it's through being involved in the life of the apartment block, whether it's being involved in different things in the area. And so we're seeing lots of opportunities to build relationships and to share God's love and to share the gospel. And we're just kind of anticipating now the next steps, which would be to get a core team together, get a group of people together who are committed to the project, to find a small space for me to be locally present. So it's like an office space where I could maybe do Bible studies, small groups, that kind of thing, where people could come in and see me, and we could start having a base of operations in the Fifth. And then we're also kind of fundraising at the minute. So those are the three big things we're doing at the minute. Kind of recruiting a team and a group, finding a space for me to work out of, and then fundraising for the plant. And the Lord seems to be blessing in those different areas, and we're really excited to see what will happen next.
Well, thank you very much, Philip, for your time, and we will continue praying on for you and Rachel, and particularly delighted that Theo and Zoe made such an easy transition into the centre of Paris, and look forward to seeing you hopefully in the not too distant future, and safe journey to Geneva, and God bless you, and thank you for your time today.
Yeah, and thanks for everything that the Baptists do for us back in Ireland. We're super fond of all of you, and feel really connected still, so shout out to everybody back home, and also are very grateful for the church in Dublin that welcomed Abigail so well.
Yes.
Richard.
And it was lovely that a friend of hers got baptised just before they came back.
Oh yeah, I think there's 2 of her friends have been baptised in the last couple of weeks there, or months. Anyway, it's been super.
Super.
The church down there is fantastic. Good.
Yeah, lovely. God bless you, Philip. Take care for now.
You too. All the best, Martin.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.